Point of View is sponsored by Castlegate Estate Company Limited, the nation's #1 service plot specialist.
Hello, this is The Point of View. Good evening and welcome to our show tonight. It's Monday, the 25th of March. The Point of View is your #1 current affairs show on television. We pick the right topics and we ask the right guests relevant questions and come up with some useful insights. It's been a grim past week for Ghana. Over 62 people died in a number of road crashes. The issue of safety on our roads is firmly on the agenda. Tonight on the show, I'm going to bring you a very interesting conversation involving what's happening on the field and the views of some experts and key stakeholders in the transport sector. It's live and interactive on City TV and also on Facebook at City TV GH. If you're following us, you can comment on the WhatsApp number we put on the screen. And of course, our hashtag is The Point of View. When we come back, you'll hear more about who my guests are. Stay with us. So we've had over 40,000 Ghanaians die in road crashes since 1991. In fact, the figure for 2018 is gruesome. Over 2,300 people died in road crashes. Tonight we're going to speak to three key people. I'll be speaking to the general manager of the VIP bus service. They have over 600 buses, one of the largest private transport companies in Ghana. He's also a journalist in the person of Adakabre Frimpong Manso. Adakabre, good to have you on the show.
Good to see you too.
I like what you are wearing. It's like you are conducting a bus. Looking bright.
I'm still at post.
You are still at post. Brilliant. Great to have you on the show. This is his first time on the program. We also have the Executive Secretary of the Bureau for Public Safety, Nana Akwada. Great to have you, sir.
Thank you.
And then we have the Ghana Private Road Transport Union. Their Industrial Relations Officer for Greater Accra, Abass, Moro, Ibrahim. Alaji, great to have you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. And thank you very much.
Great. So we're going to remind you of what took place over the weekend. In fact, before the weekend, there was a massive road crash on the Kintampo Techiman Road. And City TV's reporter, Infum, was there. He brought us a quick report which will summarize what happened. He spoke to some key people and also some of the survivors.
At least 55 persons have been confirmed dead so far after two buses collided on the Techiman Kintampo Road. One of the buses was heading to Tamale from Kumasi, whereas the other was from Garu in the Upper East region. Over 30 of the passengers were burnt beyond recognition after one of the buses caught fire. The dead included two drivers of both buses. Medical doctors say several others are in critical condition. The bodies of the deceased persons have been deposited at the Kintampo South District Hospital morgue. Some of the survivors are receiving treatment at the Holy Family Hospital. DSP Francis Ejebrube is the Kintampo South District Police MTTD commander.
The total number of persons on board the two vehicles on two buses is 108. All the two drivers died on the spot. We have 53 survivors, and then we are having 55 dead. Among the dead, we have 35 who are bent, and then we have 20 others who are not bent. Within the 20, we have 13 male, and then we have 7 females, making up the 20 number, including the 35 that are bent. So that is the total number of persons that we can give.
Some of the survivors of the accident who were receiving treatment at the Kintampo South District Hospital also spoke to City News.
In fact, you see, as we travel, I traveled about 3 days ago, and because of the long journey, I was even asleep. So before I realized, the car was down and I was under, and I struggled my way out. So I don't even know what happened. I was asleep.
So have you received treatment yet?
Yes. I've received treatment.
Were you traveling with any other person?
In fact, I was not traveling with anybody. I went alone.
Have you been able to contact the family?
Yes, please.
Chani dear, say, you think they can be a woman. Dear Mimga Granny say, Kana, Obe boy, into me who send I didn't buy. Sabia, driver now, or Bunny saying, so that would say, dear, to me, Chile. Now, okay, ye free tema, I Copaga. The bus no dear Cosino, in Munayo, Benedia, Ashino, Nim brothers in United, Sa Bass. I dear nature, Paga. Paga, tools business.
Na you could try take to work, Massy. Detecting try no say, ever sorry 8 o'clock. Into a mucas ever sorry 8 o'clock. A cobon 9, no way, so no say. Carnage afford to be about hunting or Kirby free a crabber. It is so bad. They are friend, no more the other. Near chance, and the car need to bear certain and never dear by Namida Mitona, me TV or Carnage. Until I say, Bible drew us in, me who dare not say me firm would die. Your firm would die, Jamity, I send me bunny come. Timothy, Maniana can and me. Nammy Tammo me ban. To my whole quiet crime, fast one GPRTU.
The medical officer at the Kintampo South District Hospital, Dr. Prince Tebi, spoke about the condition of the survivors.
Okay, we received a call around 2:30 a.m. that two U-turn buses, one moving from Kintampo, moving from Boko to Accra, and the other from Accra to Boko, off the Techima Kintampo Road. So we received a call that they have been involved in an accident, which plenty of them have lost their lives.
So how many were brought here?
So the 40 of the casualties were brought here. 40 alive were brought here. Of the 40, one died.
So currently, how is their condition?
One died, and then currently some of them sustained very severe head injuries. Others deep lacerations, some fractures. But those who are critically injured, we have referred some to the nearest clinic, hospital, Techima Holy Family, and then Wenchi Hospital, respectively. So we have referred 4 cases, 2 to Wenchi, 2 to Holy Family.
The Kintampo South District Hospital, which serves a population of about 100,000, does not have a properly functioning ambulance. Dr. Prince Tebi spoke to City News about how they struggle in handling victims of this accident due to the problem with the ambulance.
We had a big challenge with logistics and ambulances conveying the patients to the nearest hospital. Currently, our ambulances are out of place, they are not working properly. So we had to call a nearby clinic, hospital to give us an ambulance. And we also have to fuel the ambulances before they go. And you know, people who are traveling stranded, they don't have any money on them. So the burden now becomes a problem on us for us to fuel cars and then transport them. So we are calling on other concerned agencies to help us. Here is a small hospital, but on a highway where accident happens, anything happens, and it can be one of us. So if they can come and give us logistics so that we work with, especially gauzes, splints, and what have you.
The Kintampo South District MTTD Commander, DSP Francis Ejebrobe, also approved for a vehicle for the district to easily convey all broken down vehicles on the Techima Kintampo Highway.
You see, when an accident occurs, it's very difficult to get a towing vehicle to tow those vehicles from the road. With this one, what we did was that we went to a private towing car at Techima, where before we were able to tow the vehicles from the road. So we are appealing to the authorities to help us with a towing vehicle to enable us to discharge our duties very well.
DSP Bobe also admonished long-distance drivers to have enough rest, saying fatigue driving is partly to be blamed for a lot of these accidents.
The drivers, at times, they drive for a very long time. So whenever they drive for 4 good hours, they should stop and then rest for 30 minutes before they continue with their journey. Because that is what the road traffic regulation tells us. That whenever you are driving and you drive 4 hours continuous, you have to rest for 30 minutes before you continue.
For City News, I am Michael Sapon Inform.
Michael Sapon Fum's tragic report. So we know a few facts. 2 buses collided on the Kintampo Road. One was coming down towards Kumasi, the other was going up to Paga. And we saw those horrible pictures of what happened. So just to clear, this was a VVIP, not a VIP.
Certainly.
So what's the difference?
Certainly. VIP Jeoun Transport Company has been in existence for exactly 10 years. And I believe you would agree with me that in Ghana we have the penchant of passing of brands. Since the beginning of VIP Jeoun Transport in 2009, what has happened is that the buses were painted red with the VIP, and they started off with just about 12 buses. And over 10 years now we have 640 buses. So in between, people thought passengers had come to be associated with the red buses and the VIP on it. So several operators were repainting their buses red and then putting VIP and then putting certain inscriptions. In fact, things have become so alarming that their activities are injuring the brand VIP. So the directors of VIP even went further, though they had registered the VIP, but went further to then include a logo that has the insignia Jeoun to distinguish themselves from the others. So it's a matter of people passing off thinking VIP as a brand has a base.
But
so
the bus we saw was also red.
It's also red, and it's a VVIP, and their terminal is just about 500 meters away from the original VIP.
And do you do the same routes?
Certainly, he was going to Paga, and then VIP also does Accra, Bolga, Navrongo, Paga.
Do you keep records of road crashes that occurs within your 600 fleet?
Certainly. That is about the only thing that is keeping us going, because when accident occurs, the police MTTD would have done their investigation. Testing officers would have done their investigation. So there's a record of it, and VIP has an incident book of which we also keep records of all that happens. So people might just about erroneously mention that, oh, VIP buses have the penchant of having accidents, and I can sit here and talk about only 5 accidents involving VIP Jeoun Transport in the whole of 2018. And of the 5 accidents that were involved, 3 of them, police investigations absolved the VIP drivers of any blame.
So in the whole 2018, only 5 of your buses?
Only 5 of our buses
got involved in accidents. What make of bus does the VIP use?
Certainly, it's a very good question you are asking. The VIP started off with Kia Grombed buses. And in between, we also used Daewoo. And then we also got into U-Turn. Then
the infamous U-Turn.
The infamous U-Turn. Quite unfortunately, the drivers would not even describe it as U-Turn. They would rather would say DKM.
DKM?
Yes.
That's the name of the brand?
Nah.
And all these buses are from Korea?
They would say DKM because of that infamous DKM episode in the Brunhafel region. So, but then we have another one from Germany, German-made bus, they will call it Champagne, but it's a young man bus. And then in recent times, we've taken delivery of Marco Polos. So we have about 85 Marco Polos in the fleet.
We'll talk about your drivers and everything else, but let me show a quick infographic of the incidents of road crashes in Ghana since 1991. And this is quite terrible. So the number of people killed, this is not accidents, the number of people who've died since 1991, 46,284. And so far in 2018, over 2,300 people have died. The only other year that's been this large is around 2008, 2009-ish, 2003, 37, I think it is. So you can see that the graph is expanding. Nanaya, first comment from the Bureau for Public Safety. How typical is the accident that we just saw? Before you comment on the graph I'm showing. 2 buses, headlong collision. 1 burns. We understand 30 people were burnt beyond recognition. Another 20 died after whatever. Is this a typical...
Well, to us, if you make reference to statistics available for 2018 alone, this is very typical in the sense that you didn't mention even the time that it occurred. We observed that most of such gory incidents occur along just 2 corridors in the country. We are looking at the Accra, Paga, stretch, which is more like an international transit route. We are looking at a Lubu-Aflao route. These routes, per what we found in 2018, are the notorious routes for such gory incidents. We also observed that usually they are so gory when they occur. They occur within the early hours of the morning, between 12 midnight and 6 a.m. And whenever it happens and it involves high occupancy vehicles, the casualty levels are very, 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 very high. And so we were not surprised at all to learn this. We also observed, specific to this particular incident, that the way the cars also got burnt, we would be very much interested in the investigation, what really led to the car, catching fire and burning that rapidly. We wanted to find out, for instance, whether there was a gas cylinder on board, or any of the buses was using the gas, to power its engines. Because
you suspect it's gas because of the charred nature of the bus.
And normally diesel doesn't burn this quick.
Are these diesel buses?
Yes.
Both of them are diesel.
Yes. And so we'll be interested in the accident investigation, what really came out of it. Because
so you said 2 things. The accident occurred on one of the 2 main accident routes.
Yes.
And number 2, it occurred at the time that you usually have accidents. So it falls within the same. But the burning is the problem.
Yes, that's the only outlier that is in it. And we want to look at it. Just 2 weeks ago, we were interacting with some of the embassies, the foreign missions here. And one of the things that we asked them as takeaway, incidentally, was the travel period. That look, our roads are not safe, that safe. The vehicles that normally are involved in gory incidents, or normally, per our statistics, trucks, heavy-duty trucks, and they are followed by the buses, high-occupancy buses. They are the first 2. So, and these ones occur, and normally they will occur between the hours of 12 midnight and 6 a.m. And so if you want to travel, it was a takeaway for them. Little did we know that, a few days after that presentation will be discussing.
Let me ask Alaji quick thoughts before I show you a few more things. So tonight I'll be showing you a lot of data and a lot of footage. So we are told that there are 2 major routes where accidents occur. We are told there is a specific period of time that it occurs. We're also told that there are typical vehicles, so the long trailers and then the high occupancy buses. From a GPRTU perspective, do you agree with these points?
Before I say something, let me correct one impression. I don't believe in VIP, VVIP. What happened involves 2 high occupancy buses. You see, when an issue cropped up, we should all help to make sure we find solution to that problem. And if we want to single somebody out, yes, of course, they've also had accidents, but we are not on that. Let us all see how best we can address the issue. You see, like my brother said, it doesn't usually happen with these diesel buses getting bent frequently. It's something we all have to question about, but it has happened. We'll leave that to the investigators. Maybe something happened before the bus got bent. But we should all look at how to address the issue. Yes, we will never rule fatigue out. Like my brother also said earlier, if we can find any means to make sure we have 2 drivers regularly in any bus which travels more than 4 hours, and if there could be any mechanism to check and make sure we have 2 drivers, I think that will also help us out. Because I once traveled with a bus from Tamale to Accra, and lo and behold, it was one driver. Who drove us from Tamale to Accra. Yes, I don't think that is healthy.
And how many hours will this be from Tamale to Accra?
About 7, 8
hours.
Yes.
One person?
Yeah, and it was one driver. I'm just saying this. I'm a driver. I'm a professional driver. But when we come to national issues, we should all bring our heart out. We bring good suggestions which will help curb the carnage on our roads. Yes, of course, at times, some of the nature of our roads are also packed. At times, a vehicle which has escaped could also trigger or cause the accident, but that vehicle could also escape unnoticed. There are so many factors which contribute.
Okay. So tonight we'll try and bring some solutions up, but I want to show you a quick clip. So Mina W has put together a documentary which will be showing tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on CTTV. Now I have a short excerpt from that documentary where she looks at specific roads in Ghana and the incidents of road crashes on those routes. Please watch.
Per the figures, the youth appear to be most affected by the phenomenon of road crashes. The National Road Safety Commission has identified major accident hotspots across the country. Over a period of 8 years, the Accra Cape Coast Road recorded the highest number of 6,014 accidents. The Accra Flower stretch followed with 3,919 accidents, while the Kumasi to Techiman Road recorded 1,702 accidents. The Kintampo-Tamale stretch recorded 939 crashes, with Takrade Elubu coming with 839 crashes. Also, according to the National Road Safety Commission, the Tamale-Bolga Road recorded 780, while Techiman-Kintampo Road recorded 532 accidents. Sunyani-Bamboy stretch recorded 478 crashes. The Wa-Bamboy Road, 354 accidents. The Hohoi in Kwanta stretch recorded 240 accidents. Another identified hotspot is the Nkwanta Yendi Road, which recorded 238 crashes.
So these are some of the hotspots. So I'm told that, for example, for the Wa down to Accra Road, which is over 12 hours, most of the buses have only one driver. We spoke to STC today, who said for them, their buses have 2 drivers. And they sort of change. But I'm sure for your transport service at Adakabre, they also use one driver.
That's a presumptuous point you would want to make. Why would you not ask rather than...
Okay, so just correct me. Is it true? Do you use one driver or 2 drivers? Or depends on the route?
Certainly not. And Accra to Wa is 15 hours, and not even 12 hours. But before I get into the issue about it, Alhaji started off by saying that he wants to correct an impression, and that if we are all in it together, so it should not be as if you are singling out anybody. Precisely, if you are a business person and you have set up a brand, work so hard for the brand to be accepted by the traveling public, we just sit down for anybody to pass it off. The lawyers would explain to you what a passing off means. So when you have a brand, at present, the directors of VIP are so determined. They are even thinking of changing the color of the buses and changing the name because of this passing off. So I should stand clear in my thought to defend the brand. People should be original. People should be innovative. people should be creative. When others have used knowledge to create a brand, now they are even thinking of using technology and strategy to consolidate. And then you sit there, and as even people put on their messages, oh, VIP drivers have the penchant of doing this. People have come to associate every red bus as a VIP. And we are working so hard to defend the brand. Incidentally, the little clip that you showed with the hotspots, did you see Accra-Kumasi route on it? Did any of you see Accra-Kumasi route on the hotspots that was shown?
Why?
Try and recall.
Yeah, why are you asking?
I'm saying this because of the 640 buses, I would say almost 70% of them ply Accra-Kumasi. And a given 1 month, we are doing almost 6 million passengers nationally on that route. So if we are doing 6 million, average of 6 million passengers on Accra-Kumasi route, of which a particular high occupancy coach does 75% of its coaches on that route, and then we do statistics on accidents on various routes, and that route does not come in as top 7. We should be thinking. I am only cautioning that we should really be more factual when we make comments, because in the end, it hurts the brand. Because if we are to look into the economics of the buses, of the 640 buses, if I tell you how much one bus costs and how much we are paying duties for a particular bus and the shipping cost, and then you realize that indigenous Ghanaians have invested in that sector, we should do all we can to encourage and motivate them, but not to be erroneous and ignorant in making certain statements, all with the view that at the end of it all, if you collapse the brand, what
so
then
that point is well, I'll just ask you whether your brand...
We do 2 drivers. And
for which routes?
For Accra, all journeys to the 3 northern regions, we do 2 drivers. And we do standby buses. So for instance, 2 drivers do Accra-Bolga. What they do is that when they get there in the morning, there would have been another bus waiting to come to Accra. So this particular bus and the 2 drivers would have to wait till the following evening before they will come back.
And how many hours is one driver supposed to drive before he changes over?
Obviously, when a driver gets behind the wheels, he would have driven Accra to Lindador. He would have to rest for 10-15 minutes. Then they will do another stopover in Kumasi for a further 10 minutes. They will do another stopover in Techimai. When they are going to Bolga, they will do another stop at Techimai, Kentampo. Then they will do another stop in Tamale. Then they go to Bolga. So besides the resting periods, we also ensure that they change over. So there are clear indications that the driver would have rested more than 4 times before he even gets to the destination together with the spare driver.
Okay. When we come back, we'll show you what types of vehicles are involved in this accident. And then we'll discuss certain proposed solutions. Some people want speed limiters on all buses. Some people want us to ban driving of certain vehicles at night. And some people want us to insist on more than 1 driver for a vehicle. We'll come back and examine those solutions. This is the point of view. Stay with us.
Living among your peers in a serene gated community with tarred roads, drains, electricity, piped water supply and 24-hour security can be so relieving. That is the experience you will enjoy when you reserve the Castle Residency plots located near Prampram Beach and Manso near Adakabre. Just pay up to 60% deposit and start construction to start enjoying Prampram Beach and Airport City life. You can start with any deposit. We give you a whopping 10% discount if you make an outright payment. The Castle Residency plots are managed by Castlegate Estate Ghana Limited. Locate our offices at Katamanso Estate site off the Adakabre Dodua Road or Prampram Beach Road next to Oasis International School, or contact us on 0545 559928, our website on www.castlegateestate.com.gh, or email us at info@castlegateestate.com.gh. The Castle Residency Plots. We make home ownership easier.
Witness the twisted and tangled story of betrayal, greed, vengeance, and love in the award-winning Brazil Avenue. Carmenia, a woman led by greed, gets rid of her husband, who is Rita's father, and sends Rita away to a filthy landfill. Rita finds love in Batata, but they are soon separated by adoption into different families, far away from each other. Many years later, all paths cross again, as Rita, now a renowned chef, seeks to pay back her stepmother for taking away her happiness as a child. It's the story of twists, turns, suspense, and thrilling action in Brazil Avenue. Brazil Avenue airs Wednesdays to Fridays from 10 to 11 p.m. only on City TV.
Welcome back. The point of view tonight is trying to find out how we can curb the carnage on our roads. Over 2,300 Ghanaians have died in 2018 alone. There was a series of crashes over the previous week, the most serious being on the Kintampo-Techiman Road. 62 people died. My guest, Adakabre Frimpong Manso, who is the general manager for VIP Jeoun Transport. Abass Moro, Ibrahim is the industrial relations manager of GPRTU for Greater Accra region. He's an experienced driver. How long have you been driving? Before Adam. Definitely over 20 years. And Nanaya Akwada is the Executive Secretary of the Bureau for Public Safety. As I announced, we have a special 30-minute documentary will be airing on City TV tomorrow at 6 p.m. and on Thursday at 12 noon. It's produced and hosted by Mina Avle. I'm going to play you another quick excerpt from that documentary because she speaks to some commercial vehicle drivers. Now, commercial because the Bureau for Public Safety have a report that shows that of all the accidents that occur, the majority occur with commercial more than private. So here is Mina speaking to some drivers about road crashes.
A good percentage of the people in Ghana use public transport as the main means of getting around. Majority of these vehicles are in terrible shape, with most of them in poor conditions. Drivers do not seem to care much about the health and safety needs of their passengers. The state of some vehicles on Ghana's roads appear to be a major contributory factor to the high spate of road crashes in the country. The bigger question, however, is how do these vehicles end up on the streets? The health of the nation's public transport sector is a worry. However, the private vehicle owners share the blame for its current state.
So the masa Beka una fwenye bibili na tisa ubu wa complement masa kana yesia obeya ma obu honzo a onka ni tumi ko ba no ko ade won fi obeka won fi wo mu okura dada ne sa na ade na cars na nam kwan so bia ne ni sei so ede bidi kan ka se oye what you say we say car we dey enye e say nam kwan so kura be won say bu do obeko car wa ne chen on be wo bia price no e wo fi ma so ko no be nya akada ede e dey atu de so no ede edi tutu say aka we dey enye kura be ne person bia ye say obe fa nipa we no ede o dey give say the price na ede e wo fi ni ntia e bi ni say edmo no ma ede ana kaise no so eso obia ni say sia we me ka no say so it is a minya says na dia me pon be wo ka radio wo fie o gi ni says won tu come na story tomorrow no so wa bra wa so on for so ana nya so be nya ni says wo say say spin that for no no disturb wo krom pa wo mo say 2 million 2.5 any other than to na disturb pa wo.
The bigger question, however, is how do these vehicles end up on the streets?
DVLA operates from specific location. We expect vehicle owners once or at least maximum twice in a year, for the owners on their own volition to present the vehicle to us for the tests and award of roadworthy stickers. And again, they have to pay for their fee for that. Now, a lot of vehicles do not turn up at our various testing centers for this tests. And so they end up going to fraudsters who will make fake stickers and give to those vehicles. Currently, our roadworthy stickers system is networked. So anytime you attend any inspection and you are offered a roadworthy sticker, the vehicle information is transmitted to our central database. So it is very easy for us to verify from our system whether the sticker on the vehicle is genuinely obtained or not. And if it is that the vehicle does not merit it, we can find out where the car obtained that sticker and who inspected the vehicle. But in most cases, some of these vehicles bear fake stickers that are not authentic.
All right, so that was another excerpt from that documentary we are showing tomorrow at 6 p.m. So, Alhaji, this one comes squarely to you. The vehicles we showed, and this is not long distance. Some of these are having short haul distances. A lot of people feel that one of the reasons why many people die in accidents is that the quality of the vehicle is not good enough. And I'll give you an example. So if you look at a lot of the 207s, these are cars which are supposed to be delivery trucks, delivery vans in Germany, carrying bread and things. You bring it into Ghana, you weld angle bars and put leather on it and say it's a car seat. You can't even have a seat belt on it. But that's the usual trotro in Ghana. And so if it has a little crash, a Benz bus runs into it, people are hurt, a short distance. How come a lot of these vehicles are in such a shape and we don't seem to want to change them?
Thank you very much. But let me plead with my brother Adakabre. He has attacked me.
Forget about Adakabre.
He said no. He used one word. I ignorantly attacked, and I don't think that was my intention. I want to plead with him that what I said was we are addressing a national issue, and so he shouldn't take it at heart that I was attacking, because everybody knows that every newspaper in Ghana is graphic. Every driver in Ghana is a GPRTU member. It's true. So I played with him. We are trying to solve.
So people confuse the brands. It's not deliberate. Yes, I get that point. So talk about the quality of the vehicles.
Yes, you see, if we want to be faithful to ourselves, these rickety vehicles, yes, we are not happy with it. But they are not the main cause of accidents. If we want to be fair to ourselves, look at these buses. It's unfortunate. No driver has intention of going to work and that he won't come back. Nobody. Accident happens within a twinkle of an eye. Yes, some could be avoidable. So we should all come
But the
together.
driver said because of sales, because of the pressure to make sales for the boxer.
Excuse my language. Yeah. I would say he's one of the foolish among the lot. How can you sacrifice your life with somebody's property?
He was describing what other drivers do. He was saying that because of pressure from car owners, they have to.
If my car owner gives me very high sales that I can't, why should I sacrifice my life with it? Look at what he said. Until he gets his sales, it won't close.
But is that not true?
So if you are tired, it means you are sacrificing your life.
Do you train your drivers to know when they are tired to stop? Do you make it a law as to when they should, for example, for the number of times they can go per day?
My brother, gone are the days. For the past 3 years now, every year we organize 2 seminars for GPRTU Greater Accra members. 2 seminars in a year. If this year somewhere we are planning first week in April, before the Easter, our first seminar will come off, and I will be very glad if we invite you, you come and make the coverage.
So are you saying that what he said in that video clip is only an isolated case, and that the drivers don't go many more times just because they need to make money?
We are professionals. We are professional drivers, and you should know what you are doing and do it best. if you don't have a job and I have a job, and you know within Accra or within the station that you are working at, if I give you a daily sales of 100 Ghana, you can don't forget that drivers are the least paid workers in this country. A driver, like he's saying, he could be making a sales of 100 Ghana, and at the end of the month, he will be paid only 200 Ghana. So why should you sacrifice?
So let me ask, for the long distance drivers who are your members, do you have rules as to how many stops they should make, number one? How long they can drive per journey? Do you have such rules?
Yes, every professional driver in Ghana knows that, especially the long distance drivers, you are not supposed to go beyond 4 hours without resting.
And this is standard, they know?
Everybody, every professional driver knows that. That is one of the road traffic regulations in this country. And secondly, the stops, those who are traveling, say from here to Kumasi, normally, if you don't stop at Linda Door, there is another stop closer to Linda Door, before Linda Door, I stand for correction,
yes,
where there are some specific chobbers where some drivers, definitely you have to make a stop before.
How do you ensure that your members do this? How would you know?
That is what I said earlier on, that those who are traveling more than 4 hours, the country should put in a mechanism to make sure that, yes, every bus has 2 drivers, and there is a mechanism to check and make sure every bus has 2 drivers, so that after 4 hours...
But you are saying that drivers are already poorly paid by their masters.
Yes, I said that.
How can a master have 2 drivers in a car? He's even paying the one that...
My brother, let us don't complicate issues. The guy who spoke is a trotro driver.
Yes.
And you are now asking me questions
about long distance.
Long distance.
Yes, but
so
you said drivers are the most poorly paid. You didn't say trotro drivers. So drivers cut across.
Okay, then maybe I have to reframe my question.
Your point.
So if we are talking about long distance drivers, yes, of course, you, the driver, first you have to think about your life. How do we do that? There is a laid down regulation which says no driver should drive more than 4 hours without resting. And since we are working, we are into serious business, like my brother said, yes, it could be true, it could be anything else. But who checks? Who makes sure that every long distance buses has 2 drivers? And this is what I'm saying. This is a national issue.
Okay, so let me come to you. So the rules are clear, but enforcement is the issue. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. Absolutely, I agree. Unfortunately, sometimes we have even the people who are supposed to educate, the public, coming on to say the rules are not clear, the regulations are not clear. I've had to very, very uncomfortably point out to one such officer yesterday on TV when he sought to indicate that the road traffic regulation aspects of it, specific reference to regulation 125, that there is not clear who should implement what. And I have to point to him that, look, there are 4 sub-regulations, and everything is clear. It's spelled right there that the licensing authority, and in this country, the licensing authority is the DVLA. And it's been there. It's also spelled there. So
the DVLA is the one to enforce the rules in respect of what he described, for example, the rest, like not driving for longer than 4 hours?
No. It's not the DVLA.
Who's supposed to enforce that?
It's the National Road Safety Commission.
The Road Safety Commission, okay.
They are supposed to do this in collaboration with the MTTD. But unfortunately, the system, the mechanism or the framework for enforcing issues like rest, they've not put it in place. So it will be very difficult. For instance, if the MTTD or the National Road Safety Commission have not tasked people who are going to monitor when a driver moves from X point to B point, then how are you going to determine if they are resting or they are not? Most of the haulage tracks, they have installed trackers on their vehicles, and they are able to track from a monitoring room or a station where they can say you are doing a 6 hours journey. Why did you arrive under 4 hours? So then they sanction you. But most of these commercial, if you like, passenger moving buses I do not know of any that has such trackers on their buses, and probably Adakabre and Mr. Moro can help us if they have trackers on their.
I'll come to Adakabre shortly. I want to show viewers two things. So the Bureau of Public Safety has a couple of infographics they helped us with as the show was going on. One shows us a pie chart that shows us the type of event. So the commercial vehicles, about 70% of the accidents. This is July 2018. It shows you what do you call it, the number of, in terms of whether it's government vehicle, private vehicle, or commercial vehicle. But the second one is the graph which I want to show. Yes. So trucks, number 1. Bus, number 2. Look at saloon car. A motorbike is actually higher than taxi and 4-wheel drives. Yes. I want you to comment briefly on this. So motorbike is rising.
Well, absolutely. Let me just correct one thing. You see there is a note there that says data collection for police brutality started from July 2018. But the statistics that we have here is actually for the whole of 2018. So January to December 2018, this is the outlook. And of course, we identified these heavy-duty trucks as the number 1 vehicle on the road that is frequently, frequently involved in road crashes, and they are followed by the high occupancy buses, and of course then saloon cars and motorbikes. Motorbikes is also I nearly said one crazy vehicle that is.
Why are we seeing a rise in motorbike incidents?
Well, because we have not been able to stamp authority to regulate it. Of course, the LI 2180 says that we cannot use a motorbike for commercial purposes, which we don't, in whole agree. We think that that law must be discriminated in that in the urban centers where mode of transportation is readily available, we should ban them. And then we can allow them to operate in areas where there are less, if you like, mode of transport. So we can graduate it and eventually phase it out in those areas as well. But our attempt, or any attempt to completely enforce that aspect of the road traffic regulation to totally ban it will, impact negatively on other areas of the country.
Adakabre, I'm going to ask you questions about proposals. The first proposal I've heard today, I interviewed Nana Akumia in the morning. He said STC buses have speed limiters. So, and to be fair, I rode on STC for the Heritage Caravan, and I don't recall going more than 100 kilometers per hour. There are 2 drivers in the bus. I was sitting behind the driver. The second driver was like the coach when the first one is driving. And the second driver is usually older than the first driver. That's number 1. Number 2, the bus could never go beyond 100 kilometers per hour. Is this something that private operators should also embrace, where you agree to put speed limiters in all your buses, irrespective of the route?
Right. I rather want to address the issue from the devices that are implanted in our buses. VIP buses have started putting trackers on the bus. And the trackers, the company that we deal with is Fleet Force. They are based in North Industrial Area. And the trackers would allow us to monitor the drivers as they travel wherever. And there are monitors in Kumasi, in Accra. Even on my mobile phone, I can monitor them. And then the driver behavior is such that when they exceed the speed limit, then it triggers.
So what speed limit do you look out for?
We don't go beyond the national speed limit. And so where you have densely populated areas, and then you need to go not more than...
But I thought you tell us what the national speed limit is, because it depends on which road you are using.
No, Bernard, I think you can excuse him there, because
they are different,
along the route, there are different speed limits.
That is what I'm trying to say.
But that's what I'm saying, that so STC say you can't go beyond 100.
Maximum.
Because what I know is that in the motorway, the maximum is 100.
Yes.
And there's only one motorway in Ghana. So it means that you can't go beyond 100 anywhere.
And I'm saying that the trackers that are fitted on the VIP buses are fitted with the national speed limit. So where you are even supposed to travel not more than 50 kilometers per hour, and then you go 55, the tracker would signal that you are overspeeding.
But the tracker is running from a speed limiter. A tracker is after the fact. I'm asking you whether you will agree for us to put in a speed where there's a maximum. The car won't go. When you press the thing, if you are 99 and you step on the accelerator,
that's very mechanical.
It won't go beyond. I'm asking whether you agree for that.
I would agree for that on the basis of a specific issue you talk about, but you were asking and presuppose your question with an STC. And I'm saying we are also achieving the same result by a different mechanism.
No, you are not. It's not the same.
Please.
I'm saying that a speed limiter prevents you from going beyond a certain speed. A tracker lets you know what speed the person drove.
And
so it's not the same thing.
And I'm saying that here is a driver being observed by the tracker. So if the driver should go beyond a particular, there's a trigger. The speed limiter, what does it do? It tells you beep, 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 when you are going beyond it. And the tracker also comes to the terminal, beep, 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 the person is overspeeding. And then quickly, there is a two-way control that you can just ask the driver, please, pipe down, because you are doing this. And when the driver has come back, every Tuesday, we do it in Kumasi, every Thursday, we do it in Accra. So then we go by the driver behavior and warn the driver.
So on speed limiters, you're saying the tracker works for you. So you don't necessarily think the speed limiter is better?
I'm saying that the tracker gives us the opportunity to advise the driver. But
what about some people who want this proposal that because a lot of these accidents occur at dawn, based on the data he put out, maybe we should stop these buses from driving at certain times because they feel that the darker it is, the worse it is.
That is not the issue. The issue is much more laxity in the rules. The LI 2180 he talked about, section 125, subsection 1 and subsection 2, obliges a transport company to train its drivers minimum once a year. The driver is also obliged to allow himself to be trained once a year. We are not enforcing it.
So you don't think saying we shouldn't drive at dawn is the solution?
No. Train the driver and then move away from the motor unionism into the present-day fleet management.
Can you explain that?
Exactly. GPRTU is a member of the Ghana Trades Union Congress, and they have been operating on motor union. Now we are going into fleet management.
We are going back there.
No.
You are going back where I don't want you to go.
It's a safe place to
be.
Yes.
So to move away from motor unionism to fleet management.
Fleet management.
Okay.
When you have fleet management, then you have much more control over the fleet, where you can guarantee passenger safety. But motor unionism, it doesn't mean that GPRTU is bad, but they have worked so much for us since we gained independence. But then, how do they manage their fleet?
I'll take a short break. When you come back, we'll explain what motor unionism is. I have some of your comments as well I'm going to read. There are more suggestions. Some people are asking also, I'll do that. Some people are asking for other things like, of course, insisting on 2 drivers and that kind of thing. We'll be back with those proposals. Stay tuned.
For regular news checks as they unfold. 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes. Policy makers, the top personalities, the people at the center of the news. They speak on Face to Face. One-of-a-kind access into the lives and the stories of our time.
So these are some of the things. If you one time, as I was boarding the plane,
it just came
queue,
to you.
Just straight from the launch to the queue, a song drop. So
Face to Face with Godfred Akotobuafo every Tuesday at 9 p.m.
Welcome back to The Point of View. We are trying to discuss how to curb the carnage on our roads following the death of 62 people last week on our roads. Here are some comments. Kojo Buachi from Asinfoso says, good evening, Bernard. I think we need dual carriageways on our highways. We also need to force long-distance drivers to rest after some agreed specific intervals. The road carnage must stop. Bernard, do we have a body that regulates the commercial transport system in the country? The rate at which VIP drivers drive is not acceptable. You meant VVIP and the Sprinter bus. I suggest a regulatory body must be established to set standards for them on when to move and the speed limit. This is Kobe Inoibi. Komlagidi says government must make our highways dual carriageways to mitigate accidents in Ghana. Good evening, Ghana. There should be a law against commercial drivers driving more than 4 hours a day. Okay. Good evening to you and your panel. Per the nature of my work, I drive around the country, and sometimes I wonder if some of the drivers are normal human beings. I say this because per the little training I had from STC, whenever I'm driving, I'm mindful of the passengers in the vehicle, my family at home, and my life. Some drivers can combine 3 to 4 cars and overtake them in a curve, and sometimes on a hill, and they end up endangering the lives of other road users. I have been on the road for 20 years now. I don't have any road accident record. Nene. From South Odoko. Louis from Ablikuma says, Bernard, I think we should consider Nana Komia's view of curbing road accidents. A driver's qualification to be on the road should be akin to that of a doctor. Matthias in Kumasi says, Bernard, why should we lose over 80 lives over human error or mechanical error? Because the road was not in a bad state. Someone must answer. Kofi Seidu says, it's very sad that about 80% of our road accidents are caused by human error. People are simply not disciplined when it comes to observing road traffic regulations, and that is our problem. We need discipline on our road. Simple. Let me start the wrap-up by starting with Mr. Akwada, and then I'll come to Alaji. Which bodies must be empowered to lead implementation of these laws, which you say we already have?
Bernard, to start with, I wish that I could identify or isolate one state body and tell you this is the body. But the whole world over, road safety issues are managed through a collaboration of various stakeholders or state agencies. And so we cannot really narrow the whole thing down to just one.
Who should lead? Who should lead?
Who should lead? It should be the National Road Safety
Commission should lead.
Which is now, I'm told, which is now going to become an authority. We have also pushed for it to be an authority.
I agree with that.
In the last 9 years. And so I'm happy that they are now going to become an authority. But my worry, however, is that normally when these things happen, then we start throwing in all sorts of proposals, and then we end up doing nothing. There are some basics that we must do, and I think Adakabre mentioned it at the beginning, that look, we at the Bureau of Public Safety have said when we launched the 2017-2018 Public Safety and Crime Report that, look, if the state can implement Regulation 125, which talks about continuing driver education, if it can implement Regulation 163, which talks about speeding, these two, only these two, will be able to have the fatalities.
Good. Thank you. Let me take the final comment from Alhaji Abass Moro. What's your final comment?
Yes, I'm always in to make sure I live here with good heart. My brother was trying to condemn the unionism of commercial drivers. Tell him, or he should listen carefully. We have created so many jobs for people. People are happily working with the unions. So we shouldn't go there at all. When we come to issues of national problems, I think everybody should get on board. I will support if there could be any mechanism to make sure we go strictly by the road traffic signs. If you are not supposed to drive beyond 100 or 80 kilometers per hour, there should be a mechanism whereby both the police or those in authority could check. If we know you are driving, you know very well that there are people ahead standing somewhere you cannot identify, could arrest you for overspeeding. You will never go beyond the stipulated speed limit given to you. So there could be any mechanism
to do that.
Make sure we reduce speed, because I strongly believe some of these accidents could be avoidable.
I have 10 seconds for you. Final comment.
Certainly, the country is developing, and every sector of it should also develop alongside. Hitherto, we used to have drug peddlers. Then we came to have over-the-counter chemical shops. Now we have a well-regulated pharmaceutical society of Ghana who is regulating pharmacies.
So we should regulate the
regulate
industry.
And then move away and let the driver be much more motivated.
You've been here, Adakabre Frimpong Manso from the VIP Jeoun companies. The general manager, Alhaji Abass Moro, is the Industrial Relations Officer, GPRTU Greater Accra, and Nana Akwada is Executive Director of the Bureau for Public Safety. My name is Avle. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to CTTV and good night.
Point of View is sponsored by Castlegate Estate Company Limited, the nation's #1 service plot specialist.